share about how to make an awesome presentations. Let's wait for another 1 minute before we start the sessions. Okay, thank you. Okay, students, if you have questions anytime, you can actually turn on your mic and let me know. So first of all, I would like to share with you how to make a good presentations of your team paper. Some of you actually opt for empirical paper. Some of you, you're actually going for conceptual paper. And you actually ask me, is it for team that who are doing conceptual paper, they will get lower mark? No. The answer is no. So don't worry if you are going for conceptual paper. Okay, it is about the quality of your paper. So now I would like to share with you a very good presentations, a sample of how you should actually present your team paper. Okay, first of all, you can see here is the title. So make sure that your title, you are using Form 15 Arial. So throughout the team paper, you need to use Arial. Okay, so you can see this is how you should put your team title, and then you put your member's name. Okay, then followed by your institutions. Okay, the name. Okay, you need to follow who actually has the most contribution. Some of you actually ask me, how should I actually arrange the team member? So more important is about, your contribution in this paper. If let's say your team leader has contributed the most, the team leader is supposed to be the first. Okay. Then you follow by your international counterparts. If your international counterpart contribute the most, okay, make sure that you put them the first and you put in the correspondent email. Okay, and then yeah, Miss Dana, I can't really hear you.
Your presentation.
Sorry, Miss Dana, I can't really hear you. Maybe you want to make it louder. There is a noise behind.
Please make your presentation full screen.
Or maybe you want to type in the chat, or anyone can help me. I can't really hear. Okay, and then you can see this one for your abstract. You need to write 1 paragraph, okay? And then you use font size 11, then followed by keywords. Keywords, it has to be minimum 5. You can have 5 to 7, okay? And then followed by your introductions, capital letter, okay? And then all the way throughout the text, you should use font 11 Arial. Okay, let's look at this sample. As you can see, the in-text citations, I think a number of students, they have problem. Okay, Miss Dana, you are asking me to make full screen because I'm using the Microsoft Word, not Microsoft PowerPoint. So, is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so students, if this is not clear, let me know, all right? Okay, so a number of you have actually approached me how to do the in-text citations. Make sure that you follow APL referencing style. Let's look at this. I will use annotate. Okay, you will see the first one. Okay, you use at all. So when is the time that you need to use at all? Okay, when the authors has more than 3, then you can use at all, or else you shouldn't use at all. Okay, the meanings of at all, the abbreviations of at all means that others, means that Yusuf and others. Okay, So you can see the second citation also at all. So it will actually tell you or tell the readers that, you know, they have more authors. Okay, as long as more than 3, you go ahead and use at all. Okay, and you see the next one is you can cite, you know, media, newspaper, website, okay, and you put in the year. Okay, how about the references that, you know, you have the source, but you do not have the year? Then my suggestion is try not to insert that because it is actually less formal. We try, please do your very best to make sure that you incorporate the good quality of sources because the good quality of sources reflect the quality of your team paper. And this is actually an academic paper. Okay, make sure that you have the year. Okay, and this paper is about Shopee. So you see Shopee 2021. If you know, you can find from the website of Shopee, and this year you can actually insert 2021. So this is how you should actually do your in-text citations. Okay. So any questions so far? So you can move on and you see here. So this is the proper in-text citations. Okay, now. So I want you to look at this. Okay, is this correct? You put a full stop before your citations. Is this correct? Anyone? No. Okay, thank you very much for your feedback. Yeah, you should actually put a full stop behind your in-text citations. And for your information, these are the common mistakes made by the student when they are writing the team paper for Nusantara. They will have the tendency to put full stop. Then after that, they put in the citation. That is wrong. Okay, it's actually incorrect. You're supposed to put the full stop after your in-text citations. All right. And you can see here, you actually put in Malaysia e-commerce sectors is growing at a pace of 24% per year. So you have the statistic and make sure whatever statistic that you have, you should actually include the source. Where do you get the statistic? Okay, it's very important for you to acknowledge the source. And also for information, if you want to get a good grade for your team paper, you want to show that your team paper have a good quality, make sure you can actually incorporate some statistics. What are the latest trends about your topic? Okay. Okay, Swimming actually asked me if there is only title and there is no author. So you will just put in the title, like for example, the Department of Statistics Malaysia. You actually get the statistic from Department of Statistics Malaysia. Then you just put in Department of Statistics Malaysia, then which year, 2021, 2020. So you can actually put the source, then plus the year. Okay, did I answer your question, Swimming? Okay, then I move on. As you can see, okay, what if you put in the website? Okay, so make sure when you put in the website, this is how you actually write. Okay, and then, okay, you can see the presentations. Okay, before this, let me remove all the annotations. Okay, I stopped sharing for a while. Okay, so you can see the presentations for the paper is very neat and organized. So when you have heading, make sure that you highlight bold, okay, so that we actually know that this is the heading for your paragraph. And this paper actually talked about Shopee. So you can see the author or the team members, they actually put the extra mile, they talked about the overview. So basically, you know, we can see whether the team actually put in extra effort in their team paper. Okay, as you can see, the title is about factors that influence customer satisfaction, a case study of Shopee in Malaysia. I reckon many of you have actually carried out research on customer satisfactions, or even about intention to purchase or purchase intentions or customer buying behavior. And many of you actually talked about e-commerce. See, even though the title is not about e-commerce, but you know that Shopee is part of the e-commerce. So the author is very smart. They talked about the overview of the e-commerce, about online shopping. Okay, so you can actually talk about the latest trend about online shopping. So give some ideas to the reader. Then what are the consumer behavior towards the online shopping? Then they talked about in Malaysia. See, your title is about a case study of Shopee in Malaysia. So you need to have one paragraph that talk about the Malaysia context. So the team member, you can see they actually talked about the internet development and penetrations in Malaysia. So how many actually Malaysians are so active on the internet? How many of them are actually internet user? How many of them are actually the user for the e-commerce? Okay, so these are the informations that you can actually talk about. And this actually add value to your team paper. And then, okay, you can see some of you actually asked me, is it compulsory for me to put in the words like literature review? So you can see, yes, you can actually put it, but it's not compulsory. You can have introductions, then you follow by your literature review. The moment when you have other headings, okay, it means that this is actually part of the literature review. Of course, like for example, before overview of e-commerce, you can put in the terms literature review. Okay, it's your choice, not necessary you not necessary you have to actually incorporate the literature review term. Okay, people actually understand all this. So see, the paper actually talked about factors. Okay, so what are the factors? So you have to actually make it clear. Let's say you have 4 factors that influence customer satisfaction, and you must make sure that you actually have the 4 factors in your literature review. Okay, in this case, you can see perceived usefulness is one of variable. So make sure that you have one paragraph here, okay? If you have 4 key variables, you must make sure you have 4 paragraphs. Okay, when you talk about the variables, okay, so what are the things that you should include? So you should actually talk about the past literature that talk about your key variable. Okay, and you can see, okay, for example, when you use this, and, okay, is this proper? In this case, it is not proper. You're supposed to use and instead of these abbreviations of and. Okay, this is the proper way of how you should cite the authors. Okay. All right. So when you talk about your key variables, especially for teams who are actually going for empirical papers, and you must have hypothesis. if you are running SPSS or HLM or PLS. Okay, so you shall have your hypothesis. Okay, I highlighted here. So you can see this is your hypothesis. So how do you actually write your hypothesis? Remember, if you have 4 key variables, all your 4 key variables has to lead it to your dependent variable. So how do you know which one is your dependent variable? Very easy, go back to your title. So your title will actually inform and tell the reader that this is your dependent variable. Like in this case, customer satisfaction is dependent variable. Okay. So this is how you should actually formulate your hypothesis. Perceived usefulness means that one of the key variables supposed to be positively related to customer satisfactions. Okay, it can be, of course, I'm not saying that all your hypotheses has to be positively related. Sometimes you may have factors that is actually have a negative. You predict that the key variable has a negative relationship with the dependent variable. So you can write as such. The key variable is negatively related to the dependent variable. Okay, this is how you formulate your hypothesis. So before you come up with the hypothesis, make sure you have a paragraph to describe about it. For example, you know, the first key variable, okay, perceived usefulness. So you have the information, the past literature review. So your past literature review have to actually talk about the relationship between the perceived usefulness with the dependent variable. Okay. And then after you come up with the first hypothesis, you move on to your second key variable. Okay, let's say in this context, the second key variable is perceived ease of use. So you talk about the informations literature about the perceived ease of use. Okay, you can see here. So what is the problem with when you actually provide quotation? You know, quotation means that you actually cut and paste the original sentence from the author. Okay, means that you actually take the full sentence, okay, from the author, from the source, okay, then you put it actually into your text. You can actually do that. Like make sure that you put in the inverted comma and this, okay. My suggestions is you can actually italize it, and anyone can tell me, apart from italize, apart from putting the inverted comma, what else that you can do? Anyone? If you have read through the APF referencing style, they actually have the answer for you. Anyone? Citation, in-text citations. Okay, Dina and Kevin. Okay, so how should you, okay, you already have an in-text citation here, but how can you actually improve? Okay, I highlighted it. How should we actually do it? Somebody can turn on the mic, or maybe you can type in chat box. Anyone? No one. Okay. Anyone want to give it a try? Okay, No Suryani said Davis 1989. This is not good enough for any quotations. Okay, Wafa, that's right. And Gan, that's right. 8 page number, that's right. And who else? And Dina, yeah. Okay, 3 of you are correct. So what you should actually do, okay, you see how I actually do it? Because you actually provide quotations, usually you use the quotations when you want to define. So it's very important that you must have a definitions for your key variable. It's not about the literature review, but also the definitions. So it is okay for you to actually quote the definitions, you get the definition from other sources and you put it in. So what you need to do is to include a page number. As long as you're using quotation, you must actually include page number. So you just need to type, you put in a comma, then P dot, let's say this is page 11. Okay. So now let's move on. Let's see. Okay, this citation. Anything wrong with these citations? Okay. I bought it. Anyone can tell me what's wrong with these in-text citations? Okay, why I highlighted all this? Because these are the common mistakes made by the students. So if you want to see a better quality of your team paper, you need to take note of this. Okay. Okay, Kelvin, you are correct. And yes, I think many of you are, yes, too many authors. So I'm so happy that, oh, you actually pick up, and there are many of you. Samina, Min, Hazika, Intan, and Tanisha, Husna, Kelvin, Iza, and Iman. Okay, thank you so much. You are responsive. I'm so happy to see that. So what you need to do is you can use, okay, too many authors, okay, at all. Okay, in your team paper, you no need to bold it. Okay, I bold it so that you can see. So this is how you're supposed to write it. Okay. The same goes to this one, okay? Many authors you can use at all. See, after the second paragraph, you come up with the hypothesis. Okay. And then your third variable, okay? After you describe, okay, you come up with another hypothesis. Okay, this is only for those who are going for the empirical paper and you are going to run the SPSS. If you are not running any SPSS, do not put in any hypothesis, okay? Because you can't actually prove, you know, whether your hypothesis is rejected or supported. So you can see another quotation. So you should actually italize it and make sure you put in the page number. So put behind the year, okay, comma, then page, and make sure you put in the correct page. Let's say this is page 2, okay? Okay, so you can see in this paper, they have 4 hypotheses and all the 4 hypotheses are positively related to customer satisfaction. Some of you may have a negative independent variable, negative factor. Okay, so make sure if you know that your independent variable may have a negative relationship with your dependent variable, then you should actually state in your hypothesis that this variable is negatively linked with or is negatively related to your DV. And then after this, if you can actually formulate your hypothesis, my suggestion is for you to actually draw your research framework. So in this case, they actually draw the research framework, make it very clear to the reader. There are 4 key factors that influence customer satisfactions. Okay, and anyone can actually tell me, okay, I have talked about the 4 key variables, but there is something missing in this paper. Okay, Min Hazika actually asked this hypothesis under literature review or research method. Okay, hypothesis cannot be part under research method. This has to be under literature review, even including your research framework. You see, after the research framework, you will see the research method, correct? Okay. Oh, okay. Miss Dana? Miss Dana? Is it
Yes, Dr. Lizzie.
for my students to be able to turn on their mic so that they
Yes.
can
Ada allow them to
they
unmute themselves.
not actually unmute themselves. Thank you, Miss Dana. Okay. I'll mention that H1, H2, H3, H4 label missing. Or you can actually put that. Like for example, here, you know, you can put that. If you are not putting, it is okay. So what is the problem? See, I do not show you the best paper. I want my student to identify what's wrong with this paper. Okay, you can see. So anyone would like to give it a try? It is okay. When you try, you actually learn. Then you can actually improve your team paper. You see, you have introductions here. If you want to put literature review, you can. Okay, this is, but I add in here doesn't mean that this is wrong. No, you can do something like this, literature review. Okay, make sure that you put all the heading at the center, the main heading, like for example, introductions, literature review, research methodology, result and discussions, and conclusion. That's supposed to be, these are the key heading you should put, you should actually put them at the center. Okay, the rest of the subheading you can put at the left alignment. Okay, so what is missing in this paper? Okay, I give you a tip. There is something that is very important. Okay, it's part of the literature review, but it's actually missing. Okay, they talked about the e-commerce. Many of you will actually skip this part, right? You don't talk about the e-commerce, online shopping, the consumer behavior, and the Malaysia context. Okay, you straight away you go for your key variable. So this is the plus point for this paper. They talked about the scenario in Malaysia. Okay, what is the trend for Shopee in Malaysia? Okay, but still there is something missing in this paper. What is that? Anyone? Samina, you are correct. I'm so happy that you got it. Well done, Samina. Yes, Samina noticed it. There is nothing about the dependent variable. What is the dependent variable in this paper? Customer satisfaction. So you must make sure you have a paragraph for your dependent variable. You may be very excited to talk about your key variable, but you forgot about your dependent variable. So where should you actually put in your dependent variable? You can actually start here. Put in customer satisfactions here, and then you talk about it. Then only you have your independent variables. So well done, Samina. Okay, and then, okay, that's all for the literature review sections. Now let's move on to the third sections, research method. So you can see here research method, or you can use the term like research methodology. Okay, so it is okay either one. Then you can have your sample and procedure. You can talk about it. Okay, and you have to actually tell or inform the reader who are your targeted respondents. Okay, who are they? So there must be the user or Shopee, because you are measuring the customer satisfactions and your title is about a case study of Shopee in Malaysia. So your participants, there have to be Shopee user. how can you measure respondents who are not using Shopee? So how can you actually include them? So make sure that you have the right participants in your survey. Okay. And you can actually talk about your, your data. Okay, then after that, your measurement. Okay, your measurement, some of you, majority of you, you actually create questionnaire. If you actually adapt it from some way, you have to acknowledge the source. Let's say you actually adapt it or you adopt. Adopt means that you use exactly the same questions from the author. So you have to actually inform also. So there are two technical terms that you must be aware. One is called adopt, A-D-O-P-T, means that you actually take the source without making any change, okay? Or you adapt, okay? You actually take the items, but you actually modify, you make some changes, okay? This is called adapt. If you are not using adopt, adapt, but you're actually creating the question, then you can use the word we developed or we created, okay? And you have to report in your measurement sections. Okay, let's say you can see I highlighted here, we created a 12-item scale to measure the consumer behavior factors. Okay, there are 4 consumer behavior factors. Okay, the perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, perceived trust, and perceived convenience. Okay, so you can even, you can have one like this case, right? Instead of writing like this, you can actually make it like, so you can type in, we created a 3-item, okay, scale to measure perceived usefulness, and so on. And you can provide something, you can make your paper more interesting. Okay, you can write something like this, a sample of the item includes. Okay, so you include one of the items. Okay, you can put in inverted comma. Okay, insert your item, inverted comma, full stop. All right. So this is how you can make your measurement sections interesting. This is one way. And if you actually adapt and adopt from somewhere that talk about the reliability of the items, you can even talk, then you can report the Chrombar alpha for the measurement that you use or you actually adapt or adopt from somewhere. Okay, you can actually include that. And then after you report the measurement, okay, this is your result sections. And you can see the table is very presentable, organized, and professional. So what I advise to my students, you must make sure you take good care of all your tables and figures that you have. Make sure that it is very presentable, neat and organized. Some of you, you use left alignment, right alignment, center, sometimes, you mix and you have some typo error, and this can be avoided, okay, if you take good care of your report. So you can see this table is very clean. Okay, they use left alignment for all the respondent demography, and they use the right alignment for the frequency and percentage. Okay. So do you agree with me that it is very clean and organized? So I hope and look forward to seeing your team paper as such, clean and organized. All right. Okay. Then table 2, if you have extra question, not necessarily you have the extra question. Some of you only have the respondent profile, then followed by the, your independent, the items that measure your key variables. Okay, if you have extra question, you can actually create another table. Okay, basically this is about the customer preference. So you can actually talk about it. You can create another table if you have additional question. All right, so you can put it that. Then you can have some explanations about your table. Okay, then after that, your table 3, this can be your table 2, okay, provided you don't have extra informations apart from the respondent profile. So table 3 is compulsory for those who are running SPSS. You must have this table. Okay, and you can see the table is actually very presentable, so you can actually use, the thicker line, okay, but don't use a thicker line for every row. It doesn't actually match. It will look very ugly. So you actually highlight, so that in the middle, you use the very thin line. Okay, so this is how you should actually present your your Chrombar alpha, the zero order correlations, and the descriptive analysis for all your key variables. So you should actually include all your independent variable as well as your dependent variable. So how should you actually arrange it? So I want you to arrange it. It's very important for you to notice the sequence. See, your first hypothesis is about which variable? Is about perceived usefulness. So you have to actually arrange them based on your hypothesis. So I don't want you to simply, put your variable, no. Okay, so ensure all the flow is aligned with your hypothesis. So the first one is about perceived usefulness, followed by the second hypothesis, ease of use, trust, and then convenience. And lastly, you include customer satisfactions. Okay, you don't need to put in the dependent variable. You can put something like this. This is more professional. Okay. And then when you run the SPSS, you will actually get the correlations. So you need to actually report the correlations here. Okay, as you can see here, the figures, okay, without the ball one is actually tell you the correlations. What does it actually means? Like for example, you can see 0.671 and with the 2 asterisk. Later I will explain about the asterisk. So it means that perceived ease of use is actually has a positive relationship with your first variable. 1 here refer to your perceived usefulness. 2 here refers to your ease of use. 3 here refer to your trust. 4, your next variable, convenience. And 5 is about your customer satisfactions. So you no need to actually repeat, you just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It depends on how many variables do you have. Okay, so sometimes you will notice that you may have a negative correlations. So you just need to copy and paste. Some of you actually incorporate, you just put in exact the SPSS output. That is wrong. Okay, you have to use this table and you actually manually key in the figures here. All right, so after your correlations, okay, you can run your Chrombar alpha. Let's say perceived usefulness, you have 3 items. Okay, so you have to actually name them under 1 variable. Okay, then after that, sorry, you have to actually, okay, if let's say you have 3 items, okay, then you actually click, okay, run the Chrombar alpha, and you will see they will tell you the reported Chrombar alpha. Okay, so you put in the Chrombar alpha here. So this table actually is a combination of informations about the descriptive analysis for your variables, for your Chrombar, for the variables Chrombar alpha, Cromba alpha actually shows the reliability of your items. So the best is to go for 0.7 and above. Okay, I already explained in my SPSS video tutorial. You can have a look. What if your items are less than 0.7? Okay, let's say 0.65. It is still acceptable. Okay, and you can see the bold item here. Okay, reflects the Cromba alpha for all your variable. Okay, after that, you can see the number of items. Here, you can actually report how many items that you use to measure your key variable. Let's say, you have 3 variable here, then 3 variable to measure perceived usefulness. Okay, 5 variable for perceived ease of use, 4 variable for perceived trust. Okay, you can report it here, and 3 variables for convenience and customer satisfactions for items. You can actually put it there. All right, and you report the mean and the standard deviations for your key variable. And you can see what is the meaning of mean here. Some of you actually conducted your survey using a 5-point Likert scale. So 4.26 means that majority of your respondents actually choose. Let's say you are using, 5-point Likert scale, okay, ranging from 1 strongly disagree and to 5 strongly agree. So 4.26 means that it actually fall between agree and strongly agree. All right. So means that you can see majority of them actually agree. You can see the mean is 4 pointer and above. So the mean will tell you majority of the respondents answer are between agree and strongly agree. And what is the meaning of standard deviation? Okay, standard deviations is to show the range between, most of the answer. Means that they are quite focused. When you have less than 1, some of you have more than 1. Okay, it means that the answer may be saturated quite a bit far from the mean. Okay, 0. As long as the standard deviation is less than 1, means that most of the respondent answer are fall between 4.0 to between 4 to 5, something like that. Okay, so what if your standard deviations more than 1 is still acceptable, but when you have more than 2, I want you to check. Okay. Okay, and you can see down there. Okay, table 4, summary of regressions. So this one you need to run the regressions and you insert the beta and make sure you include the R square value and the F value and the Dubin-Watson statistic, and you actually explain it. Okay, you see I highlighted here note. Note is very important. 1 asterisk means that it's actually significant less than 0.05. 2 asterisk is 0.01. Okay, and 3, if you have 3 asterisk means that it is actually significant. You should actually include. Okay, or I can show you here. Here, they also do not actually include. Okay, supposed to be, okay, this one supposed to be less than 0.001. Okay, if you have 3 asterisk. Okay, usually when your regressions have 0. The significant level, they have 0.000, that is 3 asterisk. Okay, means that they are very significant. Okay, in this case, okay, I want to actually share with you how do you actually interpret your result. Okay, you can see here, okay, there are 4 variables, 4 hypotheses. Always arrange them based on your sequence of your hypotheses. So usefulness is the first hypothesis, followed by the second and the third and the fourth. And you can see that the first hypothesis and the third hypothesis, they were not significant, means that Hypothesis 1 and hypothesis 3 do not receive support, while hypothesis 2 and 4 receive support. Okay, so which are the key variables that influence customer satisfactions? Okay, there are two: perceived ease of use and perceived convenience. Which one has, the most significant? Which variable is the most significant? Okay, between perceived ease of use and perceived convenience. Okay, you look at the asterisk. If let's say this one has 3 asterisk, means those who have 3 asterisk is more significant. Okay, after comparing the asterisk, the number of asterisk, then you look at the value of the beta. If the beta is higher, means that this factor actually play more important role compared to the other variable. Okay, let's look at this example. They have 2 asterisk. So we can see that ease of use, the beta is 0.399 and perceived convenience is 0.361. So means that actually ease of use is more important. So when you design, so what is your implications for the Shopee? Okay, because this case is about Shopee. So in your paper, you need to talk about, okay, ease of use is actually more important. So what customer actually care is about easy to use the online website or maybe the app. So it has to be very easy so that, it will actually, this is one of the key factors that actually influence satisfaction level among the Shopee user. And the next one is convenience. So create something that is more convenient, that help the user to reduce or minimize whatever step, make it even more convenient, or maybe how to make it more convenient, increase more payment options, right? There are many ways, okay? So this is what you can actually suggest. All right. Then here is about your explanations about your result. And, you have 2 hypotheses that are not significant. So you need to actually explain why these 2 are not significant, what could be the reason behind. And then followed by your conclusions. And then your references. Make sure that you employ APF referencing style. Let's look at this. The first one, you actually cite the textbook. Actually, majority of the references here are correct. They're using APF style. Let's look at the first reference. Okay, the first reference, okay, when you actually cite the book, okay, you can see, okay, the title behind, you will actually italize it. Okay, now let's look at the second reference. Okay, the second reference is alarm. Okay, when you actually write out throughout the text, right, you must use Arial font 11 and single space, and make sure that your content do not exceed 10 pages. Some of you actually ask me, should we actually include the references? Yes, you can include the references, but if you really have a lot of content and you find that 10 pages can't even fit your references, you can actually, more important, your content is not more than 10 pages. Okay, let's say your content is 10 pages, your references can be, more than 10 pages. I mean, can be the page 11 and 12. So, so I will leave it for you. More important, your content cannot exceed 10 pages. Some of you actually, approach me, doctor, we have a lot of things to write and we have more than 10 pages. No. So it means that this is the time you must actually work even harder to reduce and minimize and customize your content to fit into 10 pages. So these 10 pages can include your references, can include your appendix, or it can actually exclude your references or your appendix. Okay, so make sure you can see it's actually a single space, not double space. The same goes for your references. So you can see for the second reference, I want to ask you, what's wrong with the second reference? You see alarm, then blah, 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 then the title, and then the journal, then volume. So what is missing here? Anyone?
No issue, no page.
Okay, Samina, you are correct. Thank you so much. Okay, that is right. So you must, okay, actually, no volume. Okay, the bracket is the issue. So no volume, let's say the volume is 42. Okay, then you can put in, and when you write, when you put in the volume, make sure you italize. This is the proper way. When you have the journal name, you also make sure it's italicized. Okay, and the title you can't italize. And okay, let's go back to the here. Okay, after issue, okay, in front is volume. Volume you have to italize. Then after that, you bracket if there is issue given. So you put the issue number, then you put in the bracket, and then comma, you put in the page number. Okay, let's say this page number is 22 to 30. Okay, and then you look at the title here, Young Consumer Online Shopping. Okay, then and you have to put capital letter. Okay, some of you actually put capital letter for every word. That is not AIBPM referencing style. Okay, some of you send to me and you put in all capital letter. No. So make sure you do it correctly. And also some of you actually put in the full name here. Okay, that is wrong. Okay, here Alam is the last name. Okay, then followed by the initial. Okay, then followed by another author last name. Okay, so you can refer to the AIBPM referencing style. So make sure your title is correct. Then after that, followed by the journal name. Journal name has to be italicized, and journal name, okay, make sure that every word is capital letter except for the word like of and and put in. Okay, here the third reference. Okay, what's wrong with the third reference? Okay, you can see here. First, let's look at the title. You see, title is already wrong. It's supposed to use small letter. Okay, it's not all capital letter. See? So you have to take good care of your references because your paper will be published in AIBPM journal. Most likely if you are writing very good. Okay, so here you see Journal of Applied Business Research. You're supposed to italize the journal name, and you no need to put the acronym, the abbreviations for the journal. Then after that, volume you need to italize. Then followed by issue. Then after that, the missing part is the page number. Let's say this is 30 to 35. Okay, how about DOI? Okay, if you want to include DOI, you are more than welcome to include. If you don't want, you can just put like this, will be adequate. Okay, you can have two alternatives, okay, with DOI or without DOI. I will leave it for you. Okay, let's go for the fourth references. Again, you can see the title. Okay, you have to make sure all is small letter. See, these are the common mistakes made by the students. You are not using the ABA referencing style. So here, the name of the journal, italicized. Then your volume also has to italize, then followed by the issue number. Again, here is missing page number. So make sure you provide the correct page number. Okay, let's say this source page number is 33 to 40. Okay, how about some of you actually, you ask me, should I actually, you can see here, retrieve. Okay. Most of you, you have this in your references. This is not correct. In the proper, academic journal, when you have the page number, volume journal, you shouldn't actually use retrieve. So you remove it. So we will just stop at the page number or stop at the DOI, no retrieve. Okay, that is incorrect. Okay. How about here, retrieve? You can put that in this case, right? You can actually use retrieve because this is the website, or maybe this is the article available on the website. So you can actually put in retrieve. If you don't want, you can actually remove this. Remove this. Just put in the website. Okay, this is how you do. Okay, you have two ways. Either you include the retrieve, or to make it simple, okay, you just include the web page. Okay, the website address. Okay. Okay, make sure that you use single space for all your references. Now, we talked about the appendix. Okay, the appendix, okay, some of you actually include the actual survey. No, appendix is not for you to include the respondent profile, you know, other question. No, it is only about your actual questionnaire about your key variables. Like in this case, there are 4 independent variables with 1 dependent variable. So you can see they are altogether 5. So you put in the items here. Okay. And you also need to mention, you see, you need to put a note here. See, you have to actually inform the readers, okay, what type of Likert scale that you're using. 5 Likert scale. Then, you know, some of you are using the, mostly satisfied to least satisfied. So, and some of you actually use the strongly disagree to strongly agree. So make it clear in your appendix. Of course, you also have to make it clear in your measurement sections. All right. So this is about the empirical paper using the SPSS. So I will stop sharing. We will move on to conceptual paper. Okay, some of the teams you opt for conceptual paper. So how are you going to present your conceptual paper? Okay, so you can see, of course, you have to make sure that you use the AIBPM template and guideline. Okay, because this one actually I get it from elsewhere. It's not the AIBPM journal, so it's different format. So more important for the conceptual paper, I already sent this to you. So you can actually refer, okay, you can create your own diagram if you want to. You can even, okay, for conceptual paper, you can have, let's say, you know, you come up with your own framework, okay, and you can have preposition. Okay, preposition is only used for conceptual paper. Let's say, you know, you propose that, let's say, you know, we look at this diagram, okay, solution challenges. Let's say these are the variables. Of course, in this case, these are not the variables. I mean, it's not for you to test the hypothesis, but I just say that, let's say this is variable A, B, C, and D. Okay, so in your conceptual paper, you can come up with the preposition. It's exactly the same like the empirical paper. You have the hypothesis one. So, but you can't use the word hypothesis. You only can use the term preposition to replace hypothesis. Preposition means that you are proposing that variable A is positively or negatively related to your dependent variable. Okay, because you don't have any result. So you can do that if you want to, or if you don't want, you can write something like this. So the methodology, you can see how, so you still have methodology in your conceptual paper. So you can mention that this is actually right upon the literature on your topic. Okay, you can see how you write. You can use this as a guide. You already have it, already post it in our Telegram. And then, okay, so you talked about your key variables. Okay, like for example, you know, some of you actually thought about during the COVID-19 pandemic, so you must have a paragraph that talk about this, like for example, new normal. Okay, and okay, what is more important in the conceptual paper? You need to actually talk about the solution. What could be your suggestions? Oh, so here you can see practical solutions. So you can talk about it. So like for example, this paper is about SME, small medium enterprises in Malaysia context. So what can we actually help our SME to survive now, okay, under the new normal? So what can SME do? So you propose that these are the key and practical solutions that SME can implement to remain sustainable in their growth. Okay, so these are some of the write-out. You can have a good read. And then most importantly, okay, you must actually talk about recommendations. See, I highlighted for you. Okay, so recommendations. So more important is you have to make your conceptual paper original. So what is your recommendation in this case, in this context of Malaysia, or maybe some of you actually do comparison between Malaysia and with other country. So your recommendations, so how can we actually improve? Okay, and the future research directions. This is very important paragraph that you should have for your conceptual paper. And lastly, followed by conclusions. And for the empirical paper, you should actually highlight maybe 1 or 2 sentences about the future research directions. So for conceptual paper, make sure that you have the solutions, recommendations, future research directions, and have a very good conclusions. That is the contributions of your paper. If you want to have a good result, good grade for your team paper, for those who are actually going for the conceptual, these are the highlight of your paper. Okay, so you read this paper carefully. Actually, before that, I already sent you a few samples. Okay, make sure your references, these references are all at some having some mistake, but anyhow, you know, make sure that you follow AIBPM referencing. Okay, and going to start sharing and going to show you the PowerPoint presentations. Okay, running, you say the format, yes, you should actually use Arial font size 11. Yeah, font size 11 Arial, not Times New Roman. But for your title, it's actually font 15. The rest are all 11. Maybe heading, you can put font 12. Okay. Now, okay, for a while, I'm going to share with you. Okay, so for your presentations in the coming conference, okay, you can actually make your presentation stand out by designing your presentation slide. You are given 10 minutes to do your presentations. So my suggestions is fully utilize the 8 minutes, and for the rest, for the remaining 2 minutes, go for the question and answer. So do not present more than 8 minutes, okay? Give the remaining 2 minutes for the question and answer sessions. Let's say, okay, this is your senior presentations. So this is the title. Of course, you can put the title bigger, the theme smaller, okay? And you can see they use color to make their presentation slide very attractive and very clear. So they talk about the introductions. Okay, basically this thing is looking at the leadership. Okay, and the literature review. Okay, your second slide is about the literature review. No, you can actually highlight what are the key variables that you actually, basically this is the conceptual paper. So they actually highlighted four areas. Okay, one is about the leadership style. Then after that, the characteristic of the management, performance management, and they zoom down specifically to transformational leadership. So this is how, so you should make sure that, you should have one slide for one factor. Unless, you think that you have too many things that you want to talk about that factor, maximum is two slides for the key factors. Okay. You can see very simple, but very attractive and very presentable and very organized. Okay, you see what is missing in these presentations. So they have all the variables, and what should they actually include? Anyone? And this is actually the team members, so you can actually put in, so that everyone knows. Okay, anyone? Can you tell me what is missing here? Conclusion, that's right, Halila. Very good. And what else? You see, they talk about the literature review, then suddenly they go to the introductions of the team. Yeah. What? Introductions? No, they already have introductions, I know. Result, research method. Yeah, you can have, you can talk about the research method. Even though you are conceptual paper, you can just mention that this is the, upon the literature review of that topic. Very good, Lucy. And abstract, Samina, no need. Okay, so in your presentation, you don't need to talk about abstract. Immediately, you go to introductions, literature review, research methodology, discussions, and conclusions. Okay, and you can even have additional slide about the future research directions or implications. What is the meaning of implications? So, how can your findings actually contribute to your to the company that you have researched, like for example, Shopee. So what is the implications to the Shopee management? Okay, so you can actually have one slide about the future research directions, or you can even combine them. But you make sure that, your whole presentation, you should not take more than 8 minutes. Okay, and actually, I trust that all of you, you already know how to do presentation, because some of you already won the best presenter award in the previous conference. So this is not an issue for you. So at the end, you can, if you want, you can actually put in, make your presentation slides very interesting. You can put something like this, and then yeah, you can actually end with the this if you want to. Okay. So any question? Or you can actually put in your last slide. It's about thank you or question and answer session. That's all. Okay, that's all for today. Any question? And thank you so much for your participations. I'm so happy that when I ask questions, you are doing your very best to respond to me. Thank you for that, and thank you for trying. Okay, Tanisha actually asked, is there a limit for the number of slides? No, there is no limit. As long as you practice your presentation, not more than 8 minutes. If you think that you want to have 20 slides, go ahead. Yeah. Okay, any more question? You can turn on your mic and ask me, or you can actually type in chat box. Volume in journal is what, doctor? Okay, Dina. Okay, that is all right. I am, okay, wait for a while. I'm going to show you the, okay, hang on, I'm going to share screen. Okay, this is the most important website that you must visit. That is the guideline. It's actually available in your Nusantara Project profile. So these are the author guideline, how you should actually write your, these are the format. What are the things that you should actually include, and what is the font size that you should actually use. Okay, now this is one of the journal under AIBPM. So this journal is International Journal of Applied Business and International Management. So let's search for the current issue. See, Dina, you see the volume? Do you see? So volume is not given by you, it's given by the journal. You can see here, this is volume 6, number 2, 2021. So when you write, you italize 6, then you put bracket, then you insert the issue number. The issue number here is 2. So 6 bracket 2, then after that you put in the page number. So here, let's say you're citing this. Okay, so the page number is 1 to 12 if you are citing this journal. Okay, all right. Okay, any more question? Okay, this is the best time. You should simply ask me.
Doctor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Doctor, I'm swimming. Doctor, I have a question. When we're doing our presentation, is that our teammate can help us to share the slide?
Swimming, I would suggest no. Okay, because maximum is actually 2 presenter, but my advice is one team send 1 presenter. Okay, so the presenter will be fully in charge of their slides.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Swimming. Okay, so Samina say, where can I find the AIBPM format for? Okay, the format is actually general. Okay, it's the same page website that actually I sent it to, just like I show you, it's also available in our Telegram. Okay, many of you have already shared the author guideline. If you really cannot find it, then you can always refer to the Nusantara course profile. Okay, lying us official website, they don't have the year. Okay, then if they don't have the year, then you just put 2021. Sometimes the information they put in the statistic, they will put in the statistic year and the date. If there is none, then you put in 2021. And to make a good impressions, to reflect the quality of the paper, just so you can see, it's very presentable. Okay, they use all justified. Okay, and you can see the table figure all are very presentable. And another thing is to increase the quality of your paper is to cite the latest references. So what are considered latest references? Year 2020, last year, and 2021. Okay, especially like in your introductions. So I would expect my student to tell me what is the latest trend in your introduction. Some of you, you actually write, introductions, 2009, 2008, 2011. Hello, this is very outdated. Okay, put in something new because reader want to read something new. Okay, what actually happened right now related to your topic. So it should be available in your very first page in your introductions. And for all your literature review, you can have all references. It is very okay. Do not remove all references because these are the past literature about your topic. But what you can actually do is to add in the new references to make your paper more comprehensive, and it shows that you and your team as author, you do notice the latest trend and the development about your topic. What is the, okay, Samina asked, what is the journal no page number? If the journal doesn't have a page number, usually they will have DOI, Samina. You can insert the DOI. If there is none, so means that you shouldn't cite this journal. Okay, means that this is not a good quality of the journal. You can look at also another way. You you can actually include the journal paper from AIBPM journal, because these are all your senior papers. And like, for example, some of you doing Shopee, some Lazada, AirAsia, KFC, MACD, all these are actually available. So AIBPM journals, AIBPM website is a very useful resources for you. Husna actually asked, is it compulsory to put research? Oh, no, it's not compulsory, but if for those who are using SPSS, it's compulsory for them. Okay, so for those who are not using SPSS, it's not compulsory. Husna already sent 2 sample paper in our Telegram, so you can see that. All right, so Dina, so after volume, we put page number. Okay, after volume is issue number. Some of the journal, they don't have issue number, so after volume, you can actually put page number. If there is an issue number, it's compulsory for you to include the issue number. Okay. And Jinny, can I put page number and volume only because there is no DOI? Yes, Jinny. So there are 2 ways. If let's say there is no DOI, you don't need to put in the DOI because there is no DOI. Just put in page number. Some of them have DOI, you can actually include, and it's also your choice. If you think that you don't want to include DOI, you just put in until page number. Okay. Swimming mentioned that, can we get the conceptual paper? Yeah, the one that I share is the one that I share in our Telegram. It's already available to you. Yeah. And okay, Intan, you are asking, we can do research framework without SPSS? Yes, you can. Even for conceptual paper, you can come up with your own research framework, but it's not compulsory, so it's optional for you. Okay. And Liu Xing, can I know where is the SPSS video? Liu Xing is actually available on our e-learning. Okay. And I think many of your team members, many of you have already watched the SPSS video. Okay, so I'm very happy and you know how to use it. Okay. All right, any more question? Samina, you have question?
No, doctor.
Yes, Samina. Samina?
No, doctor.
Oh, no question. Okay. All right. So Hazika asked, what is the difference between questionnaire that analyze use SPSS and questionnaire that do not use SPSS? I would encourage, if you have created the questionnaire, you should actually go for SPSS. But it also doesn't mean that you can use SPSS to analyze, because it depends on the question that you design for your questionnaire. And some of you actually approach me and ask me, I find that I cannot use SPSS to analyze my question in the questionnaire. Yes. So that's why I will ask you, send me your questionnaire. Let me have a look so that I will know whether you can use SPSS or not. Okay, some of the question, when you design, you don't have question for your independent variable, you don't have question for your dependent variable, so you can't use SPSS. SPSS, it has to be, you have clear items for all your variables, including independent as well as your dependent variable. If you don't have questions for your, your independent variable and dependent variable, then you only can use Excel. You don't need to use SPSS to do the analysis. Yeah. Or you can use SPSS to run the descriptive analysis only. It means that you only can see the frequency and the percentage. Yeah, you can run like correlations, Chromba alpha, and regressions. Sharihan, how to do data analysis using empirical method? Very easy. You can watch my SPSS video. Okay. Any more question? Because
Hi,
Yeah.
doctor.
Hi, Chien.
Doctor, I wanna ask, means for the reference after the author name and the date, so we need to put the website title, right?
Yeah.
The website title is only the first
Okay,
word
this is,
capital letter or
yeah, first word capital letter only.
okay. Thank you, doctor.
Yep, thank you, Chien. Okay, any more questions? This is the best time so that you can clear whatever doubts that you have for team paper. Okay, make sure that you ask. I'm sure after this session, you are very clear what you need to include.
Doctor, I have a question regarding the submission for 25th. For conceptual paper, we will need to do until the theoretical framework, right? After that will be the next submission or until the implication?
Okay, so you're talking about the progress report submission, right?
Yeah.
Okay, for the progress report submission, okay, Samina, thank you very much for asking. This is very good. Your progress report will due on 2 days later. That is on 25th November. Today is 23rd November. So some of you actually asked me, what should we actually submit for the progress report one? Okay, you have two choices. One is you can submit your paper as it is, like for example, you have the intro, you have the literature review, or you don't even have the intro and literature review, you only have your abstract, you can submit that. Or another way is you just need to write a paragraph to inform AIBPM that the progress, like for example, our team has already conducted the survey. Let's say, our team is doing the literature review for all the variables for our topic, such as blah blah blah, variable A, B, C, and D. Yeah, you can write something like this, just one paragraph, and you can talk about we have completed introductions, we have completed the literature review. Yeah, just one paragraph. This is about the progress report. Yeah, the same goes for your progress report too. If you don't want to write that, you want to submit as it is, you can. Okay, like for example, you want to submit, your full paper, with the, your content, you can. All right, but my advice is just one paragraph because you want to keep your content to yourself, right? Before your final submission. Then your final submission is to submit your full paper. So it's your choice. I will not make it compulsory, or you must submit your paper as of now. No, you can just write one paragraph telling AIBPM what you're doing now, what have you completed, what are you going to do. Yeah. All right. Okay, Liu Xing asked, submit at Google Classroom or email supervisor. No, you have to submit at the Google Classroom. Of course, before that, I would encourage you to always inform your supervisor, because why we appoint supervisor for you is to help you, okay, to show guidance. At least, if let's say your supervisors are not active, you can always inform AIBPM that supervisor do not actually respond to you, then provide the screenshot, supervisor do not respond, but you don't say that today you just email them, then you screenshot and say, oh, my supervisor do not respond. I respond fast to you doesn't mean that other supervisor respond fast to you. You need to actually give them times, like 3 to 5 days. After 5 days, they don't respond. Then you can actually do follow up. So I would encourage students, please follow up with your supervisor. You don't send one email, then you consider, you are done, then expect, sometimes, your supervisor may have tons of email, tons of WhatsApp, tons of messages like me. Okay. So you must make sure that you follow up, every other day. So I'm sure your supervisor will notice. Okay. All right. Any more questions?
Doctor,
Yes,
I have
Ada?
a question.
Yep.
Should we put the SPSS result in slide?
Yes, if you are doing the empirical paper, you should actually put in your table 1, that is the descriptive, the respondent profile, right?
Yes.
And table 2, table 2 for the extra one, no need. You just go for the, the descriptive analysis, combine alpha and the correlation analysis. That one is a must. Then after that, with the regression result, that one you must present for empirical paper. You are using SPSS. And then with your another slide is for the result and discussion.
Okay. Another question, Doctor.
Yes, very good.
We need to write total 2 pages for introduction.
Oh, okay. Not necessary. Okay, I know that AIBPM actually provide a guideline that is in your Nusantara Project profile. Okay, this is only a guideline. Actually, I did mention it in my second class. Remember when you all are in the Nusantara in Italy, I talked about it. That is only just a guide. You can have 1 page. If you think that you want to have more, you can. Okay, this is only a guide. Okay, so if you exceed or you're less than that, it is okay. Don't worry about that. Yeah, more important is the content. It has to be less than 10 pages. Okay, you can include or exclude references.
Okay, Doctor.
Yeah.
For example, if our topic is about customer satisfaction, do we need to explain about customer satisfaction at introduction?
Yes, you need to, because that is dependent variable. That is the key things that you are going to talk about. So you have to.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
Okay, because when your title is about factors influencing customer satisfaction or factors influencing, your purchase intention. So you actually need to talk about the context in Malaysia if you are doing in Malaysia, okay, and your key variables as well as your dependent variable. Okay, any more question?
Doctor, we should submit our first report right by 25 November. So we have to email
Dina, sorry. Are you referring to the progress report one? That is 25th November. Yeah.
Yes. So we should email to Google Classroom or supervisor.
Yeah, Google. Okay, supervisor, you're supposed to, okay, Dina is a very good question. I think just now who asked me already. Okay, so it is actually very important for you to email supervisor. At least, every week you must keep in touch with your supervisor. And for the 25th, it's not for you to email to supervisor anymore. It's for you to submit your progress report 1 to Google Classroom. That is to AIBPM. To notify AIBPM, you meet the deadline. It's just very simple, a paragraph or 2. You can write more. You can talk about what you have actually completed, what you are doing now, what are you going to do for the next step. Yeah, or you can submit your paper. There are 2 ways. Okay, and for your supervisor is you must keep in touch with your supervisor, ask for your supervisor guidance. Yeah. Okay, any more question?
Yes, Doctor. I'm Rennie.
Hi, Rennie.
Yes, Doctor. I want to ask what's the difference between solution and recommendation?
Okay, so Rennie, you are doing the conceptual paper, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so my recommendations to you is for you to read first, then you will know the difference. Okay, recommendations basically is just a very simple one, practical solutions. They are telling the company that you are doing what are the practical ways they can actually do. A recommendation is basically just a summary from your practical solutions. Have a good read first. Okay? Okay, thank you, Rani. Okay, Atta, you want to ask question or anyone? If not, then that is the end of a session. So my advice is for you to actually ask so that you are very clear and you know what you need to include for your paper and make your paper a very good presentation. So, okay, in terms of the format, in terms of the content, in terms of the layout. Okay, make it very professional. You can see that the one that you are doing right now, the Nusantara team project, is totally different from your other course paper. Okay, usually, you need to actually include the cover page. Okay, some of you actually ask me, do you actually need to include cover page? Please do not put any cover page. We do not need any cover page for the Nusantara team paper. Okay, you're supposed to start with the paper title, then followed by your name. And okay, talking about the names, make sure that you always put the last name followed by your first name. Okay, like for example, Lo Yin Yi, right? So Lo is your last name. Okay, so you have, okay, you're supposed to write Yin Yi Lo. Sorry, just I mentioned you have to put in your last name first. It is for the in-text citations. But for your author name, okay, so Lo Yin Yi become Yin Yi Lo for your name, okay? And let's say Husna Adawiya, then Husna Adawiya, okay? Like Tan Yan, Chia, Tan Yan become Tan Yan Chia, okay? Okay, any more question? No, okay, that's, how about the names with AP? Okay, yeah, you can just, Patria, this is a very good question. Yeah, you just put your name as it is. Yeah. Okay, Patria, did I answer your question?
Yeah, yes, doctor, thank you.
Okay, so that's all for today. And hope you benefit from these sessions about the presentations of your paper as well as for your.
Hi, sorry, doctor.
Hi, William.
I have a question. There is a task on submit the intro and also the literature review to Google Classroom. My question is, only the leader need to submit or all the members need to submit?
Okay, one team, one submission. Your team,
okay.
if let's say your leader is not available, maybe does not have the internet access on that day, so leader can actually appoint member. But if you think that every member want to submit, okay, I will leave it for you. It's okay. So if you think that you're so excited, you want to submit, okay, no problem. Okay, there's no hard rule, but just to make your life easy, one team, one submission. But if you think that you also want to submit, okay, everyone can submit. Okay.
All right. So only after my supervisor approve, then only I submit.
I would say that is the preferable way. But if your supervisor does not respond on time, like for example, 25th, you need to submit, but your supervisor haven't actually respond to you, then you can submit first. Because you still can revise your paper as long as you have yet to submit the final paper.
Right. All right. Thank you, doctor.
Okay, thank you, William. Okay, Surani, yes, I will. Yeah, I will actually upload the recording later on. Okay, that's all. So I will pass the time to Miss Dana. Thank you, Dana. And thank you, everyone. Glad to have you online. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I will put the attendance in the chat room and open on the Nusantara Project. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Miss Dana. So I will leave the session. Everyone, you can leave. Yeah, that's all for today. All the best to you and team. Bye. Thank you, Kelvin, for the clap. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye, everyone. Thank you for all the messages. Thank you. Okay, you can fill in the attendance. AIBPM actually send the attendance